It's always midnight on the Bowery, or at least it feels that way. Maybe it's the passing trains, or the sound of heels on plank flooring, or maybe I'm just thirsty. Actually, it isn't even called the Bowery anymore. A successful rebranding transformed this district into the Old City. It's a haven for hipsters now, but back in the day, sometime after the Civil War, this half-mile stretch from the railroad tracks down to the river was known as the Bowery. By daylight, the streets were occupied by workers from the local coffee and flour factories, or guys from the meat-packing district and the nearby stockyards. After the sun went down, it was largely transients, gamblers, prostitutes, and mysterious herb men who practiced voodoo, and those who had a particular thirst to quench or itch to scratch. It was colorful, the biggest melting pot in Knoxville, and maybe more than a little dangerous. Passengers from the Southern train depot, just a block away, would often get off the train, sometimes in the middle of the night, and head straight to the Bowery. Sometimes they never made it back to the train. It had more saloons than any other street in East Tennessee. At one time, there were 10 on one block. That building on the corner of Central and Jackson Avenue, the one with the round window in the sidewall, was a drugstore. There's a very cool clerestory skylight in it. It may have been installed when the building was used as a photography studio. The drugstore was open late and did good business, selling the medicines and tinctures of the day, as well as morphine and cocaine like they were soda and beer. It was a different time back then, boy howdy. In the 1920s, that same building became a restaurant and took on the name it would keep for decades, the Manhattan Cafe. They served sandwiches, chili, and beer. Not on the menu, but offered frequently, were ass-whoopings and nightly mayhem. In the 1940s, one of the waiters, Granville Stick McGee, younger brother to the famous bluesman Brownie McGee, wrote and recorded a song called Drinkin' Wine Spodioti. Yeah, it's the same tune that Jerry Lee Lewis made his own. The place closed in the early 50s, one more casualty of the Bowery. But nothing can keep a classy building down. A local developer reopened the building in 1987, and in homage to its history, called it Manhattan's. That's also when the neighborhood was informally rebranded as the Old City. In 2011, the space became Knoxville's first Scottish-themed bar, Boyd's Jig and Reel. What were once adjacent businesses are now 3 additional rooms. Walls came down and the performance space was expanded. It's cozy, with all the old character intact. The food is something you're more likely to find in Glasgow or Edinburgh, but the vibe is down home Tennessee. WDVX hosts a live weekly radio show from here called Tennessee Shines. It harkens back to the days when radio and live music was ubiquitous. Times change. Still, on most nights, the sound can take you back.